Hello there everyone! Before we get started with today's makeup tutorial, we have two orders of business. First, let's share a Thin Mint. Here's one for you. Here's one for me. Good decision, but now I need some water. Our second order of business, a Sephora haul. I went to Sephora yesterday and picked up quite a few new products to add to my makeup collection, so I thought it would be fun to show you what I got, especially because I'm wearing a lot of the products today that I got. So the first two products are both samples that I picked up. The first is the Josie Marin Pure Argan Milk. I know this product has been out for quite a while, but it was there in the little 100-point reward section, and I've never tried it, so I thought it was worth a go. This is an intensive hydrating treatment, and it is lightweight yet super intensive. The cashier at Sephora told me it can be used both day and night, which is appealing to me. So I'm going to put it to the test and see how it works. The next sample that I got is the Dr. Brandt Pores No More Pore Refining Primer. This primer is very popular here on YouTube and throughout the beauty community, but one thing I learned about it when I got it is that it's antibacterial. So it's kind of like the Makeup Forever smoothing primer in the sense that it's mattifying and pore refining or pore smoothing, but this one is antibacterial and smells kind of like tea tree oil, which is probably what makes it antibacterial, while the Makeup Forever one is not. So that is a good feature for people with acne-prone skin. Next, I got a Sephora brand, what's this called? Rouge Gel Lip Liner in the shade The Nudist. I'm wearing this right now all over my lips. It is super creamy. I'll swatch it for you. Super creamy, really pretty color. But because it's so creamy, I don't know how long the color is going to last. I'll let you know in the video. Next up, I got a nail polish. This is the Formula X Sheer Strength Nail Polish in the shade Exhilarating. I really like this brand of nail polish, and I thought this was a pretty color for spring. What can I find next? I got the Sephora contour shade in Tranquil. This is a very, very cool toned contour, which scares me just a little bit because it's out of my comfort zone, but I think it'll be really pretty because it looks more like a shadow than just a bronzer. I used a little bit of this today with Hoola bronzer, as you'll see in the tutorial, but I'm definitely gonna have to experiment more with this and get it down to a science because I'm not very good at it yet. Next, I got the Becca Under Eye Brightening Corrector. Now, when I walked into Sephora, I had absolutely zero intention of buying this, but I decided to give it a try for some reason, and I walked out with it because it was so great. So, what it is, it's a creamy corrector. It's pink toned that goes beneath your eyes, and you can use it either beneath your concealer or highlighter, or you can use it by itself. When I went into Sephora, I had no makeup on and I put this under my eyes and it made me look so awake and fresh that right there just made me want to buy it. So this is what it looks like. Like I said, pink creamy corrector, and you'll see it in action in my tutorial today. And then last but certainly not least, I got two Makeup Forever Artist eyeshadow palettes. So the first one is number 1. These are nude and neutral shades, and this is the palette I'm using in this tutorial today. Here are the shades. They are super creamy and pigmented, but unfortunately, the only matte shade is the black, and maybe that gray one is just a sheen. But other than that, they're all shimmers, so I'm going to have to use another palette to find a color for my crease, but that's not a very big deal. The colors are just to die for, so I could care less about that. And the second palette that I got is the number 3. It is the Florals palette. So this one is a lot more colorful and very pretty for spring. There's a close-up of the colors. I'll swatch a few. Here we go. Swatch that one and this one, and let's do this dark purple. Alrighty. So we have, oops, that one, and that one, and that one. There's a close-up of those colors. Like I said, they are super pigmented, super creamy, and the colors are super beautiful, so keep your eyes peeled for some future videos using this palette, some spring videos. So that concludes my little Sephora haul. Now let's get into the tutorial. I'm starting with the Dr. Brandt Pores No More Primer, and I'm applying this primarily to my T-zone to help fill in my pores and control oil. For foundation, I'm using one of my favorites. This is the Revlon ColorStay for combination oily skin in the shade Buff. And I'm applying this with a damp Real Techniques complexion sponge all over my face and down my neck. To correct the darkness under my eyes before I conceal, I'm using the Becca Under Eye Brightening Corrector. The pink color of this product helps cancel out the bluish cast of under eye circles, and according to the box, this product has ultra-fine light-reflecting illuminators that help brighten. For concealer, I'm using the Makeup Forever Full Coverage Concealer in the shade 01, and I'm applying this with a Bare Minerals concealer brush. To blend this out, I'm using that same Real Techniques complexion sponge. To set all these cream products in place, I'm using the Mercier Translucent Setting Powder. And the way I like to apply this is to allow the areas that I just concealed to bake. All that baking really means is that I'm pressing a heavier amount of this powder onto the areas where I concealed, and then I let it sit there anywhere from 30 seconds to a few minutes before I buff it away. On people with a little bit deeper complexion than I have, this helps set concealer and add an extra layer of highlighting, but I just like to use this trick to keep my concealer crease-free all day. I'm also setting the rest of my face with this powder to help my bronzer and blush blend out more smoothly later on. Next, I am bronzing and contouring. For bronzer, I'm using Hoola by Benefit with the little turquoise brush that came with it to start contouring beneath my cheekbones, and the Morphe M439 brush to bronze along my temple and hairline as well as along my jaw. And then to contour, I'm using the Sephora contour shade in Tranquil. And like I said earlier, I took it easy with this color today because it is very cool toned and I didn't know how pigmented it was. But the reason that I wanted to try a cooler toned contour is because it makes it look more like a shadow and less orangey colored. For blush, I'm using Melba by MAC, and I'm applying this to the apples of my cheeks and sweeping it back along my cheekbone toward the top of my ear. To highlight, I'm using Lightscapade by MAC with a Morphe 501 brush. For the eyeshadow look, I started with my favorite transition shade, which is number 13 by Morphe, and I'm blending this through my crease with a Morphe M332 brush. Next, with the Morphe B83 brush, I'm applying a base layer of shade I544 from the Makeup Forever Artist 1 palette to my lid. And then to deepen the crease and make it more cool toned, I'm taking shade S556 by Makeup Forever, and I'm using the Morphe G18 and Morphe M332 brushes to blend this into my crease and outer corner. To make the lid more intense, I'm applying more of that I544 shade with my finger, but this time I'm applying it mixed with eye drops. Eye drops are an easy and pretty inexpensive way to intensify shimmery or glittery eyeshadows. You can either add it to your brush or drop it right onto the eyeshadow and mix it with your finger to get this effect. To deepen the outer corner even more, I'm using shade S102, which is the black shade from the Makeup Forever palette, with the Morphe G18 brush, and I'm blending it as softly as possible to keep the black in the outer corner and outer part of the crease, because I want to keep the inner portion of the eye bright and open. For the lower lash line, I'm using that gray shade that I used in my crease. It is shade S556 by Makeup Forever, and I'm blending this along my lower lash line with a pencil brush. For the inner corner and brow bone highlight, I'm using shade I528 by Makeup Forever with a Morphe G13 brush. This light shimmery shade helps open up the inner corners of the eye. To line my lash line, I used the Stila Stay All Day liquid eyeliner in black, and I created a wing starting from the middle of my eyelid. By starting the eyeliner in the middle, the inner portion of the eye where we highlighted stays open and bright. For a cool-toned nude lip, I used the Sephora Rouge Gel Lip Liner in the shade The Nudist to line my lips and fill them in, and then I applied the L'Oreal Color Riche lipstick in the shade 370 Jennifer's Nude. And finally, I opted not to use false eyelashes today, so to make my natural lashes look their very best, I curled them and applied the L'Oreal Butterfly Wings mascara on my top lashes and the Ulta brand Amped mascara on my lower lashes. And that concludes this Sephora haul and cool toned look. If you have any requests of tutorials that you would like to see in the future, let me know down in the comment section. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next week with another video.